want to know what you was gonna say there.
Like I said, I told him last week when I was on here, like, can't we agree that Trump is who's instigating this shit? Like, if Trump wasn't sending
Oh,
ICE and National Guard everywhere, and those are things that you're kind of like, well, nah, it's just on the protesters to not react crazily. That does make it seem as if you're inclined to the for ICE rather than against it, and I think that just hurts your overall point of, if you say, hey, this is degenerate, we should take it down. Uh, when you make points like that with the ICE thing, it makes it seem as if your points are less relevant because it seems that you just want to say what you feel and disagree with should be degenerate things. That's it.
And the problem that I have with you, KT, is that you just
Bronco,
lied.
if I could just
Right?
jump in
Hold
real.
on, Lee. Hold on. Let me respond to KT. Then I'll let you go. Right? You just came on and you just lied right off the bat when you say that we didn't have smoke for ICE or members of ICE committing degenerate acts. Right? That's a lie. I clearly stated that if ICE is committing degeneracy, then we should speak out against it. We should protest. We should do whatever in our power to bring it to light. I clearly said that, right? That's number one. So you got up here and you started misrepresenting the facts. And I don't know if it's you're misrepresenting the facts or you're just have a bad level of understanding of the conversation. Number two, there was somebody advocating for committing crimes. And it was the Queen Bomb Sherry when she said, hey, not only should we protest them, we should impede against them, which is two different things that I was trying to point out, right? Protesting is fine. But when you're going out there impeding against law enforcement, you're putting yourself in harm's way. You're committing a crime, you're obstructing justice, right? You're interfering with a federal investigation, and there's consequences for that. So I said, hey, it's important to have a level of discernment to know what to do versus what's going to put you in jeopardy. So,
well,
so
you're making up
hold on
something
one second,
now.
Queen. I'm
You're
about to
making
land
it
it,
up.
Queen. Queen, I'm about to land it. I'm about to
Oh,
land it.
okay.
So KT,
Mm-hmm.
if you come up here, be accurate, number one, and don't come up here lying. Because all of that stuff can easily be knocked down. Peace and love.
Well,
So
KT was
you
right.
no,
Wait, KT
the,
was right. And also, I did not advocate for crimes. In fact, I said the whole time that we've been having this discussion, not necessarily today because we just started, that I don't think they're impeding, right? So if y'all are the one, that's why I asked you if you're saying they're impeding, where are you getting that from? Okay, I don't think they're impeding, but yes, we should be out there protesting. And when you do say, well, when you say if ICE is doing this or that or the third,
exactly.
then that's the problem. Because if you don't know what they're doing, then I don't know why you're speaking on it. Because everybody knows they're committing crimes, including the Supreme Court and the courts who have told them to stop. So it does look like that you're not out here being honest. And then it is true. Because if you can't be honest on what everybody knows, then like when you tell people they shouldn't be looking at Corey and shit like that. You know, some people do believe that, hey, if one person could talk about children, then whatever they say about my children, then I could say back about their children. You know what I mean? I don't give a damn about Anton and and what they said about his daughter. Y'all do. And I respect that. But you gotta also respect that I don't give a damn. Because I've heard Anton say shit about people's children.
And
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 that's
the
also,
it.
let me
difference
just
is,
add.
the
Hold up.
difference
Let me
Ain't
is,
add
no
one
this real
second,
difference.
quick,
one second,
Brandon.
one second, real quick, one second. The difference is if Shadow is on a panel and he's saying something egregious and crazy, I'm not gonna say the whole panel is guilty for what Shadow is saying, right?
Uh-huh. What you mean?
And hold on, we got some heavy. Welcome back to the show.
Sharon / Brownsville is MAGA. What's your thoughts? Because
did it occur to any of you? Did it occur to any of you about the 14th Amendment?
Did to me.
Yeah, I'm talking to Sharon in Brownsville.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did it occur to you? Did it occur to any of you about the 14th Amendment?
What about it?
Well, while y'all sitting over here tap dancing and shoe shining.
Tell us about it. Yeah.
Now, y'all here defending ICE, and then you, Brownie, lied on Bomb, talking about Bomb is for crime. Bomb didn't say that. Bomb didn't say that. So why you lying on Bomb?
What is it about the 14th
Brownie?
Amendment? Let's start with the 14th Amendment before we move. Let's not move
due
too
process. It's called due process.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point. That's the reason why people are angry, because of the due process part of certain laws. But we know this is the Tyler Perry sector of YouTube. I get it. You know, dumb niggas like to talk about what's under woman, talk about women and men and gender warring. That's all what you niggas are on. So that's why you niggas are dumb as fuck.
Big J, so do you think that me and Brownsville are against due process? Well, we had plenty of conversations about due process. We had that conversation. When y'all was back in ICE, no, Scott, no. When you was back in ICE, when Brownsville was making excuses for ICE, no, he wasn't for the 14th Amendment of these United States. Hold on. Okay, so now you will have to show us where we are backing ICE.
When you just told Bomb that Bomb was lying. Bomb was not lying. Do you understand that? You wasn't lying. No. She ain't lying. Bomb ain't lying.
Big J, we trying to have a conversation. Let's not make it. If you're here to have a conversation, then we can have it. But if you're here to just talk shit, then that's not a conversation. So now, is impeded in a federal investigation against the law?
The tree of liberty is refreshed. No. Let me quote Thomas Jefferson.
Hold on, but I asked you a question. Are you going to answer the question?
Oh yeah. Just as the question you refused to answer. Did you vote for Trump or did you not?
I don't have to. I told you. No. Hold on. Again, I asked you a question. Are you going to answer it?
Yeah, unlike you, you did on my channel the other day.
Fine. But you have the right to refuse the question, right? I'm asking you, are you going to answer? You said yes, you're going to answer the question. So now, it's impeded in a federal investigation against the law.
Define impeding. Define impeding.
Okay.
Defined it.
Okay.
Sean, it's in the back chat for you.
Oh my God!
Don't look for help. This is between me and him. Don't look for help. This is between me and him. What is impeding? Defined it.
Okay.
In the context of what Bomb was saying.
Slowing down the investigation, making them people go around, slowing them from the investigation, it alerting the people that is in the investigation. Those are forms of impeding.
And is that illegal?
Yes.
According to whom?
The law.
What law? Which law?
Oh my God.
Because I'm gonna go by what Thomas Jefferson said: the tree of liberty shall be replenished by the blood of patriots and tyrants. So let's talk about the 14th Amendment not being careful.
So hold on. I defined what impeding is, right? And it's in the law that you are not. So are we in agreement that you should not impede in a federal investigation?
You need to define it in the context of what you mean
I defined the word impede, right? So if you are in their way, you slowing down the investigation. You are. It doesn't necessarily mean stop them, but you're alerting the bad actors. You're alerting the criminals that they are investigating. You are impeding on that justice.
No, that's not impeding.
That's not impeding.
So
that's not impeding.
So now you pull up the definition of impede then, because this is insane to me. Because we cannot. I'm going by the definition of the word,
right,
and I'm not sure what are you going by, because maybe we're going by
the Constitution. You got to take in account. You got to take in account the Constitution and the rights. So that's why look, the definition of a word could be a word. You got to define it as in the law.
Okay, so now, hold on, slow down, please, because I'm defining it. You are not, right? So you cannot obstruct justice, right? That's the illegal definition of it.
Yeah,
that's obstruction. So now, what is obstruction? It's when you impede, right? And then I'm defining the word impede. So now we can move forward, so we can stop trying to argue.
The legalities have been talked about all over the place, and you are saying something that none of those lawyers.
That's fine. But I'm defining words as we move forward.
I know, but what I'm saying.
So don't tell me that. Okay, so now I'm trying to get so we can have an understanding, right? So again, Big J. So now I've defined impede. Are these people impeding on a federal investigation by slowing down the officers that are doing their investigation? Yes or no?
No.
Well, no, because Donald Trump is impeding the United States Constitution, and we should be governed by the Constitution thereof.
Hold on, Big J. We got to slow down. I'm talking about the people that are protesting. Are they slowing down? Are they slowing down the ICE agents by stopping traffic, by hitting them with snowballs, by blowing their horn, by following these laws? Is that slowing the officers down from doing their investigation?
And Donald Trump is slowing down the Section 2 of the 14th Amendment.
It's slowing them down, but it's not impeding, though.
Okay, so no, but that's the definition of impede.
No, but that's why I tried to explain, and that's why you sidetracked.
Okay, do you want me to put?
Because
my God, this is crazy.
No, listen, what I'm saying is
no. We cannot redefine the word impede.
No, I'm not talking about redefining the word. I'm talking about you just defining the word, but there's a legality. The word obstruction, as the way you're using it, is about legalities. Now go and look and see what they mean in the law book as obstruction. And you'll find that anything in the law cannot be against the Constitution, which is the law above all the laws. And that's why what you're
and so now, do we fight Constitution law in the street or in a goddamn courtroom?
Yes, with the ICE. Yes, that's exactly what we fight.
Where do we fight constitutional law at? In the street or in a courtroom?
Both.
Well, the people do both. Yes, we fight it in the street and in the courtroom. Yes.
No, you do not fight law in the
most street. Definitely. That's what.
Oh, really? Wait, whoa! Time out. Hold on. If that's the case, then Sharon, then please tell me about the black people who marched on Ellis Bridge in 1965.
Hold on.
Was they impeding laws?
Hold on.
Was they impeding laws?
Please. Hold on. Before we're not going to just skate past impeding, because this is crazy to me.
We're still on the topic about impeding.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Hold on. So can I just park my car in the middle of the street and impede traffic? Is that legal?
Was Martin Luther King impeding?
Right.
Luther King impeding. I need y'all to slow down. Hold on.
Answer that question, my brother.
Hold on.
You beat around the bush.
It's not impeding. Please, I do not want to start muting people. It's not impeding if he had a protest. I'm going to walk from here to here. That's not impeding traffic.
Yes, he did. It was 1965 impeding on the Pettis Bridge.
Hold on. I need to talk to one person at a time, please. Please. I need to talk to one person at a time. Having a protest in Manhattan, they had a protest where they walked from Washington Square all the way down to Times Square in the street. They did not impede traffic because everybody knew they was going to walk. That's not impeding traffic. If I was to take my personal car and impede on traffic, is that against the law? Yes or no?
So no. So why?
Hold on, Matthew. Hold on, Matthew. Hold on. I was talking. Matthew, I need you to hold on. I need my brothers to have some patience, and it is okay. I want to finish my conversation with Big J first. Matthew, I'm gonna bring everybody's gonna get a chance to speak. I promise y'all.
So
Big
you're
J,
telling me. So
hold on, please. Hold on, Big J. I'm asking you a question. Don't change the question. If I park my car in the street and I impede traffic, is that against the law? Yes or no? First,
was a Martin Luther King impeding the law in 1965 at the Pettus Bridge?
Hold on, I need so this way we can have clarity of what we're talking about, so we can have what we are disagreeing with. So if I put my car in the middle of the street and impede traffic, am I doing something against the law? Yes or no? First, please.
Hold on. Let this be between two men here. Was the Montgomery bus drive impeding the law?
Can you answer my question first so we can?
I did. Yes.
What we're
yes.
arguing.
The answer is yes. Now,
okay,
when are you gonna answer my question? Did you vote for Donald Trump? Because when I asked you that, you ran.
Oh my God. You rage
quit.
What I told you was I don't have to answer that question. That's what I told you. I don't want to answer that question. I don't have to answer that question. Whoever I vote for, it has no consequence to what the conversation is.
Oh yes, it does. Because hold
on, please. No, because you keep trying to change this. You keep trying to.
No, I'm not.
So again, so you agree that impeding traffic is against the law. So therefore now that you agreed, you said yes, that is against the law. So now when protesters are doing that, that means they are doing something against the law.
Just like what old boy said, it's time to make a little bit of good trouble.
Before you change it, I'm talking about something very specific. So you agree that me impeding traffic is against the law. So therefore, that's why we are trying to communicate to you that those protesters that is impeding on federal investigations. Do you agree?
Yes, they are impeding, and yes, they're blocking, and that's what protests are for. Just like Martin Luther King in the Pettus Bridge in 1965, just like the Montgomery bus drive in 1961, just like the what's the other marching where people were blocking? Oh, just as those quote unquote ferries during the white night riots in 1979 when Harvey Milk got shot. I mean, we can go on and on and on about what protest is, but yet what you trying to do is trying to make it all about making excuses for the Trump regime. Is that what you and Brownsville's doing?
No, we're not. We're having an actual conversation about the law, which you already agree with, that impeding traffic is against the law, and then you try to skate past that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You admitted the law.
Hold on.
See,
so you agree, but you can't go past the fact that you agree that impeding traffic is against the law. Once that is said, now
when they break the law, you got to break the law.
Hold on, we gotta have respect, because I didn't interrupt you, Big J. Even when you saying things that I don't agree with, it's okay for us to have it back. I want us to have a real back and forth, not just screaming and yelling at each other, please. And it's difficult.
I'm not screaming at you.
It's difficult when I'm
being very firm on you.
Hold on. It's difficult when you keep interrupting. You have to allow the other person to finish their thought, please.
Cuzzo.
Yes.
Listen to me, man. This is what I need you to do. I need you to showcase that this is your show. Stop allowing people to come and punk you and derail the show. Control your show. This is your show. So if they don't want to show decorum, then there's consequences for that. You shouldn't have to say the same thing 3 or 4 times over and over and over and over again.
That's not very stoic of you, Brownsville.
Right. The stoicism. Yeah, the stoicism is, where's the stoicism from Mr. Brownsville? Where's the stoicism at in Brownsville? Because nigga, when you was on my channel, you was hooping, hollering, screaming.
All right,
back in May of 2025. Sit down and be quiet, Brownsville.
So Big J, you got to be able to have a conversation in a straight line instead of asking a whole bunch of stupid questions. Please, I'm tired of it, because every time I allow y'all to talk, it's going to be somebody that's going to have a complaint to say I ain't controlling something. It's a fucking annoying. I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't.
But here's the thing. Every time you make a point, you always argue in bad faith.
Big J, I'm having a direct conversation with you. So I just want the same respect that I'm giving you. That's all. So, and I just need logic, understanding. So when you say that impeding traffic is against the law, you cannot now say that the protesters are not breaking the law. Is that not correct, Big J?
If I get a bounty,
I'd like to see you try.
Hold on, let me make sure. Big J, are you the person that is raging, rolling? Oh, he left anyway. So, because if you was raging, rolling, then you was not able to get bounties. But I don't know. You have all these goddamn all these extra names. I don't know who you are, because I agreed that Raging Rolling was not going to get bounty, but as far as I understand, you are Big J, not Raging Rolling. So also before KT goes, this is crazy. We also got Matthew. Matthew, do you understand? Do you understand the difference between impeding and protesting?
My brother, I understand the difference. This is what I'm saying. We, as a people, don't have a problem with immigrants getting deported. Obama deported more immigrants than anybody. It's the way you deport people. That's the process we talking about. Did you go through it legally and give people their due process? This administration is not giving people their due process and just harassing people because of what they look like. That's what we went through during slavery.
So, Matthew, do you believe there's a difference between how ICE is handling it now and from the way how Obama did it?
Correct. It's
right, and that's the problem. That's where you're wrong.
Okay, listen. Let me show you number wise.
Hold on. You gotta understand. You just said something, right? But you're wrong. The way how ICE is handling it now is the same exact way they handle it.
No, it's not. Sharon, you're not talking about what Big J was saying. You just said things are bad.
Let me tell you why.
Hold on, please. Hold on, because y'all just saying stuff.
No, so, you don't want to listen to the numbers.
Hold on. When Obama was doing it, did they not say?
You go on your opinion. Let's listen to numbers, like Kevin Samuel say. Let's talk about numbers. Now let's not talk about opinions. This administration, 70% of the people that they are arresting are not illegal immigrants.
That's not true.
No, that is a fact. Where do you get? Okay, hold on. What is the percentage?
Hold on, please.
Give me the correct number. If I'm wrong, you give me the right number.
Hold on, please. It is no stat that shows that ICE is arresting citizens more than immigrants.
Illegal. No, not citizens. Immigrants. That's
what he just said.
He said illegal.
Hold on. If y'all don't stop fucking, I have to listen. Y'all. Okay, so I can understand. If I say something wrong, allow the person to correct me. I cannot have 3 conversations at one time. Matthew, what 60% of people you talking about?
70%. All right. For example, the guy that was on the news with the 5-year-old son, the judge just released him the other day. You know why? Because he didn't get his due process. It was a whole news story about this and that, how he ran away from his child, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? Judge released him, say this man is going through his proper paperwork to become a U.S. citizen. He should have never been detained. This shit should have never happened to begin with. That's one prime example.
Of what? That's a prime
what
example.
They are doing.
Hold on. That's a prime example of what?
That's a prime example, but I'm giving you an example.
No, hold on. A prime example of what?
Of what?
Yes. What is that a prime example of?
If you did proper investigation, you would have never harassed or went after this guy from the first place.
And so
that's what investigation. So nobody's doing proper investigations under this administration. They just going after immigrant. You don't look like me, get you. You look foreign, you don't look like you don't have your paperwork on you. Come on, let's go over here. That's not how it's supposed to work, my brother.
Okay, so we got that one.
And that's what they are doing.
No, that's not what they're doing. So
yes, they. Okay, then.
All right.
Why are people upset about it? Then it wasn't upset about it back then.
What you showing to me that person actually did have due process. They seen a judge, and that judge said, "Hey, no, he is such and such who he say he is," and they let him go. So that is literally due process.
After how he was. He got arrested. He got detained unlawfully and had to stay there over a month. That's not justified.
Right.
What are we talking about?
Hold on. We are not talking about justification. We talking about you talking about due process. That is due process.
No, but he didn't have.
If I get arrested,
after the fact that I gotta prove something after you accuse me,
because you're not understanding what y'all are saying. Due process. If I get arrested, I get due process to go in front of the court or judge.
In how long?
What the fuck is going on? So this way, I could go in front of a judge or or my peer. Hold on, because
was he unlawfully detained? Answer that question.
Hold on, please. Due process is after you get arrested, you have the ability to argue your point in the court of law. That is what due process is. Due process doesn't mean that you cannot get due process. Do not mean that you can get falsely arrested. You can get arrested falsely. You can get wrongfully arrested. All those things can happen. So y'all are confusing what justification is versus what due process is.
No,
you don't know what you're talking about. You've
been in the law, my brother. You've been in the law for your administration, what you support, and that's why the dude kept asking who you support. Because what do you think January 6th was?
Oh my God, this is
no.
insane.
Oh my God, nothing.
Hold on, please. What do due process mean?
Okay, then.
Okay, so let me explain it.
Oh,
you're right.
What does it mean? I don't want an explanation.
I'm saying it. Due process.
I need to know what it means, please.
That's what I'm saying. When you go before a judge, right? But
okay, so it has nothing to do with being arrested.
No, you're right.
Okay, so all right. So now that we understand that I'm not lying, because y'all said I was lying.
No. What I was saying is that you're wrong.
Hold on.
Listen.
Hold on.
The cops come to my house and say they investigated a murder.
I need you to listen.
Nobody was murdered in my house, but then they come in
to listen to what I'm saying, because for some reason I don't understand. Bomb Cherry just corrected it and said I was correct with my synopsis of what due process is. But when I said it, multiple people said I was lying.
No, I said you were lying about him getting due process. So he ended up getting it, but they had to fight. That other people had to get involved, and then they was looking for him and his son, right? And then he ended up with a judge saying, nah, get him in front of a judge and give him his due process. So what we're saying is they're not giving people due process. They have to end up due process.
So the issue that I'm having, you saying that he didn't get due process while he got due process. He got out, right? So okay, so now we got that one example that proves that they are having due process. That's crazy in itself. The one example that he brought up.
What you're saying?
So did the person? Hold on. Did the person get due process? Yes or no?
Eventually, yes.
No.
Okay. So there we go. So now we understand.
Yes, eventually they went before a judge who told them.
Okay, so now we understand, Matthew, you're not understanding the law. right?
Man,
No,
ask a
I
quick
understand
question.
the law, my
Regardless
brother.
of-
I have a cousin
I
that's a
think-
U.S.
hold
senator,
on,
my
hold
brother. I
on.
understand the law.
Hold
You
on.
don't
Now-
understand your civil rights, my brother. That's what you
Right.
don't understand.
No. What
That's
you don't
no.
No,
You
hold on.
let somebody
Hold on,
tell
please.
you.
Hold on, please.
Okay.
What y'all misunderstanding, right? Is that just because if a police officer violates your civil rights, you have to fight it in a certain way. You don't get to fight it in the street. You do not hold court on the street.
Yeah, but
You
then
hold,
shouldn't be
you hold
one against
law
the
in
rights.
the courtroom. Y'all are
Okay.
talking about holding court on the street. So just because somebody is violating your civil rights doesn't mean that you need to go ahead and fight and put hands on officers and say, no, you violating me. You handle
Who said you put hands
violations
on
of your civil rights
No,
in the court, not on the street.
Sharon, can I ask you a quick question? Is arrest a part of due process?
Yes.
What?
You gotta have
I mean,
be arrested to get your day in court.
This is
I
ridiculous.
agree. So I'm just saying, like, from the moment that, like, this is part, because you were talking about what's the definition and how they were wrong. Well, now I'm not agreeing with either side to be. I'm just saying what's right or wrong. And I was looking it up while y'all were arguing. Due process does include the arrest. So if you're being unlawfully detained, like according to due process, that's why they're saying like you can't. It is violated. However, a part of due process is supposed to be the arrest. You're not supposed to be able to just arrest somebody because you're saying, like, even their point of arresting you was saying you did something illegal. So if they're making that accusation without properly doing the research or anything, well, you know from the beginning they violated his due process.
But KT, look, the crux of this thing, the whole spiral of this conversation was who is deporting more people or whatever as far as each side goes, right? Whether it was
No,
Obama,
I ain't hear nothing about
whether it
that.
was
When that
whoever,
happened,
right? But this is where
when
this
that
all
conversation started.
Nah, yeah, they were doing more about how too, Uda, because dude even said Obama deported more. They were saying like how Trump's going about it, and
So again, so if you get wrongfully arrested, you're saying that is
your due process was violated. Yes.
Right, and that's when you're wrong.
I'm giving you the legal definition, Sharon.
Because you can get the due process is more than one. Oh my God.
If I plant dope on you and arrest you for dope, we starting off wrong from there. You did not commit. I'm
Okay, that is
accused.
okay, but that don't have. Okay, that's fine. We understand that. I don't understand. This is crazy to me.
So what we're saying is they're not doing it legally, my brother. They're not
arrested. People get wrongfully arrested all the time, dude. If you are when you are going to the part of not due process, that means that you arrested me and then you sentenced me, and now I'm in jail. That is not due process.
You're incorrect.
You
That's
can
what I'm
wrongfully
saying.
arrest somebody, and then now I need to be able to see somebody in court and say, hey, this is what's happened. They lied on me. This is my proof that they lied on me. I didn't do the things that they accused me of. X, Y, and Z. Here's my proof of it. And that is the due process. So
no,
all
but
of
they
that
didn't do
is
that.
part of it. So
That's the part they didn't do for them for that man.
All right. So the problem is that they are conflating too many things and saying that.
No, that's you, Sharon.
Oh my God,
you being facetious, bro. Like I literally looked up the legal definition. The process begins the moment that you're being apprehended for whatever.
KT, but you can be arrested
You're
for
saying
reasonable
how?
suspicion.
Hold up. You're saying how? No, you cannot.
Yes, you can.
No,
Look
you
it up.
cannot. No, you
Is it a
cannot.
misdemeanor or a felony, Josh?
Hold on,
Again,
hold on. Slow down, please. Because y'all are being ridiculous. Y'all being absolutely ridiculous. Can somebody be arrested wrongfully? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So once we acknowledge that, right, the next step to it is now you got to see your day in court. Correct?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You're talking about the end process of it.
So now that we understand that is steps to it, we cannot say just because you was wrongfully arrested means that your due process was violated.
Nigga, no, that's one of the steps.
Hold on. Let me fix it.
Hold on. I don't understand. I don't need you to fix anything. System was built I don't need you to fix anything. I need you to stop trying to. I need everybody to stop acting like their voice is more powerful than mine. I would let everybody get a chance to talk, but we got to be accurate. And for some reason, y'all do not want to be accurate because
No, that's
accuracy doesn't
you.
fit your.
You literally saying skip the first step because the second step exists, and I'm saying it's two-part. You're the one keeps saying the only thing that matters is what the judge say. I'm saying no, the due process begins from the moment you're arrested. So if you're wrongfully arrested, your due process has been violated. You cannot ignore that, but you keep trying to say that's not real, which is crazy. You keep saying that's a part of the process, then saying, all right, well,
It just
the actual
doesn't
part
apply to illegal aliens.
Right.
Their due process in arrest hasn't been violated because they're here illegally. So how they're handled after that becomes more about their due process. They can be detained. They can be arrested because they're here illegally.
Because
No,
it's
what we
probable
was
cause
they was
of
point,
violation
they
of
was point,
illegal entry.
Right.
They gave an example of a dude who was a legal immigrant, though. And that's the thing. You can point out many cases where there's legal immigrants, and they're literally saying, you don't look white. You ain't white, bro. You fit the description. Like, straight the fuck up. So that's
But
what I'm
KT,
saying.
that's not what they're saying.
But that is
KT,
what
I'm being calm right now, but that's not what they're, hold on, that's not what they're saying. Y'all are conflating what's said because y'all are disliking ICE. What
Right.
they're doing is they're using reasonable suspicion to stop people. That's step
That's not-
one.
No,
Hold on.
but they don't have
legal.
reasonable
Don't stop.
suspicions.
Do not
What is
stop
that
me.
reasonable suspicion?
I'm not done yet. The
Okay, but
reasonable
what is
sus-
it? What
It doesn't. Okay, why do y'all think that part matters when we are talking about due process? If
No,
somebody
because-
was, hold on. If somebody was to give an anonymous tip and say Sharon is selling drugs, I get arrested, no matter how wrongfully it is, I gotta go ahead and fight it. Correct?
No.
Yeah, you gotta fight it, but they can't just take
do y'all
a
understand how
person's
the
word
law
and go
works?
arrest you.
Yes, they can.
But
Hearsay is admissible in the feds.
Listen, a
That's the
person
game
can't
y'all
just
play.
call
Y'all
and
play
say
the
you got
game.
dope over there,
Wait a minute.
and now they accept
Yes, they
your
can.
words as
Wait a
the
minute.
Yes,
facts.
they
Wait a
can.
minute.
You have
They
to do
literally can.
investigating to support
Wait,
that. That's
wait
how
a
you
minute.
get your fucking warrant
They
from the
literally
Oh my
judge.
God.
KT, hearsay is admissible in the feds.
Okay,
And
wait a minute.
y'all have to understand, illegal
we-
entry is a federal offense,
No,
not a state.
listen. What ICE is doing is they're picking up immigrants,
Hold on, please. I need
Why you stop
clarity,
me?
because we are not addressing the conversation. We start talking about something very specific, and then we say what ICE is doing overall with no proof of it.
No, but I'm gonna give you. But this was what was stated, and that man told you this, and then you said no, it wasn't. What he didn't say illegal. What they are doing is picking up immigrants. Anybody who look like they're immigrants, that's what they are doing. Even if they're legal immigrants, but they're supposed to be getting illegal immigrants. So somebody up here is only mentioning, oh, if they illegal, it's already a crime. That is true. But if they are illegally,
I want to ask Sharon something. I want to ask Sharon something. Sharon, are you familiar with the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution? Are you familiar with the 14th Amendment of the Constitution? Since those two amendments is about due process, are you familiar with the Fifth Amendment and the 14th Amendment, sir?
I am.
Can I just
see how are we going to have this argument, right? When you don't even know the Constitution of the United States.
The government cannot deprive you of your life, your liberty, or your property without due process.
Correct.
Right. And what did the 14th Amendment say, Sharon? I'm talking to Sharon. Notice Sharon ain't saying anything. Notice so he's not answering a damn thing.
We got him.
Everybody else answered for him.
As long as we get
because I've been answering this for a long time.
No, you did not answer the question, Sharon. Okay, because hold on. And another thing, Sharon.
Big J.
Can I crash out, Sharon?
No, not yet.
All right, my fault. I'm going on mute.
Big J. I am just trying to get down to the truth of what we are having a conversation about, and people want to add in things that's not important to the conversation about ICE. When we're talking about due process, we could just simply stick there first, and then we could move it along. We could start.
You're gaslighting. You're gaslighting.
Okay, thank you for pointing out something that I'm not doing. So now
you are. You are.
Because stop telling me what I'm doing. and just answer the questions, and we can have a productive discussion. And all the people that's in the back, the only reason why you in the back is because I'm prefacing people that is on camera. So that's that. So now you want to talk about due process.
Mm-hmm.
You can explain to me how the story that Matthew brought up, that this man being arrested and then going through a due process, a judge deemed that he was a legal citizen and got released back into the world, how that's not due process. Please explain that to me.
Like how though you said you was not going to do no bounties about 2 hours ago. You said, you know, somebody told me though you was going to do no bounties, but now though your bitch ass cousin did it though.
Hold on.
Just saying.
Are you rolling?
Hey, drop
Are you rolling anger?
See,
You got to pack.
Hold on. I want
You
to
can't
hold
play
on
with
because
Browns.
Hold on. I did tell rolling anger, if that person's to come up, that person is not going to be able to get bounded. Are you rolling anger?
Are you a Trump supporter?
Pack them up.
Okay, so therefore, don't worry about it. Then I said rolling anger is not going to get bounty. If you're not rolling anger, you're allowed to get bounty. Unless you asking me for your protection. You saying, Sharon, I'm going to be ridiculous. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to be an agitator. Can you please give me some protection so I can have the conversation? I'm going to hold my patience and I'm going to have a conversation.
Because
I will give you the protection.
Can I
Do you want?
on
Hold
Brownsville?
on. Do you want Sharon's protection to not get bounty?
if it's going to be a one-on-one, yes, because I don't need no sidekick.
Okay, that's fine. You want my? Okay, that's fine. So are you going to be respectful and stop over talking?
Unless you stop with your gaslighting and what your cousin doing over there too.
So if you're going to continue to do
all
that,
right? Do we understand one another? Do we understand one another? I hope
I'm trying to, but you're not understanding. Again, I'm gonna give you some rules so this way we could agree. So I would take the bounty off of you. You could have a conversation without saying what I'm doing and just answer questions and have a regular conversation. Once you start saying you are doing this and you are doing that, you are doing this and you are doing that, you are not trying to have a conversation. You're just talking. Or we didn't understand this or that. Can we be in agreement?
Let's go ahead and do it, Sharon. Let's do it. Let's see how far though you going to flip it right back around and shoot yourself in the foot. Go ahead, do it. Let's go ahead. Let's have it. Let's have it.
Okay, so we're gonna have a respect. We're gonna have a respectful conversation, and we're not gonna. All right, we're gonna see how, and we're gonna allow. I'm gonna allow the audience and the panelists to understand what we said, and we're gonna see if you hold true to what you were saying. Fine. So now go ahead and describe what is due process. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, geez, man, I think you should know. I mean, no person should be held for a capital, otherwise infamous crime, unless on the receipt or the indictment of the grand jury, except in cases rising in the land. Blah blah blah. See, and that's for the military part. Maybe you go back to civilian parts, or shall be compelled in any criminal case to be witness against himself, to be deprived of life, liberty, and property without the due process of law, nor shall legal property should be taken for public use without compensation. The 14th Amendment, I mean, it's in this law. You know, Cardinal Law is a good ass website. You might want to read it sometimes, Sharon. Talking about you might want to reread on that. I ain't gonna read all that for you.
Okay, so now, all right, so now let's slow it down. So let's slow it down a little bit so people can actually hear what you're saying, right? So I'm gonna give you what I'm understanding, right? No one shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, right? Are we in agreement of that? That's what it says in the Constitution.
Right.
Okay, so now what about that man being arrested and then seeing a judge is not due process?
Because if there was suspicions of him being illegal, wouldn't there be a warrant for his arrest that falls under the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 14th Amendment of these United States Constitution?
What do that have to do with? We are talking about due process.
Yeah, yo,
Okay,
man.
so we not talking
Warrants
about
is a part of due process, right?
No,
Warrants are part of due process, right? See, I went to
what does
law
it say?
school.
Okay,
You didn't.
Hold on. What part of due process it says that you need a warrant?
Oh my God! Didn't we just did I just read the Fifth Amendment, y'all? Wait, oh my God! He said, do you know what a warrant is, Sharon?
Listen.
Did I read up?
Yo, listen to what I'm saying. A
Yeah,
chance to be heard and have a fair procedure, okay? Listen. If after the arrest you are brought before a judge promptly and given an opportunity to challenge the charges through bail hearings, motions to dismiss, trial, etc., then you are still receiving a procedural due process, right? If the arrest is completely without any legal basis, for example, police arrest you for no reason at all, and you have no opportunity to challenge it, then your due process could be argued that it was violated. So
like with that man, right? Like with that man in that in the chat.
No.
Yes, he did not get due process until he
eventually ended up getting it, but it was
only because people had to fight and find him and all that, and then he got it. But that's what we say, Sharon. He didn't.
But he got it.
But look, even if you're wrongfully arrested, as long as the system gives you those fair procedures due to the process, due process is technically occurred. As long as they still give you the chance to make your hearing to be heard, and this is the part of due process. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Y'all need to know. Y'all don't know your rights, and it's fucking sad, right? Because you mean to tell me you could be in jail for a whole month without any lawyer, any due process, and as long as somebody make them do it, and then you go through it, then it's okay. What?
You have a claim against them. No, you
you have a claim against them, and so yes. Which means you got a claim against him because you didn't get your due process. That's what the claim would be, right?
Specifically, you can be in a fence for 90 days.
You just don't know how long.
By law, you have 90 days.
No,
by law, they have 90 days.
Okay, y'all, one at a time. Hold on. Hold on. One at a time, y'all. We gotta hold on, y'all. We gotta be able to have a conversation.
I'm telling you, they have up to 90.
Hold on, please. And I ain't getting no goddamn support to have this strong conversation. Not one.
Well, it's called free education. I think niggas need free education.
So now we're gonna allow Bomb to finish her thought because niggas like Big J, that's what they want.
What?
They don't enjoy somebody getting some support for education. They think that you only supposed to support fucking degeneracy like Corey Holcomb. That's the fucking problem that we have with a lot of black men today. As soon as we start talking productive and we having a strong conversation about law, he want to excuse people not supporting it for whatever fucking reason. I don't know, but it's sad and disgusting. So now, before we get to you, Big J, let Bomb Cherry please finish her thought so we can flush out this man not getting due process. Why he was able to get due process? Go ahead, Bomb Cherry, finish your thought. Otis, who want to respond to it as well? So go ahead, Bomb.
Well, I'm just saying, he ended up getting his due process due to fighting the protests and everything, getting a judge. So yes, he ended up getting it, right? So what we're saying that when they first picked him up, used his son against him to even grab him, they had no reason to even do that because they didn't do any investigation to find out that, he wasn't even an illegal. He was already going through the process to become legal. But then now the family looking for him, everybody searching for the kid and everything. And then a judge, somebody go to a judge to make ICE release them. So yes, he eventually got it, which is good. But that's not what ICE was doing though. And that's all, and that's what we're saying. ICE are not giving these people due process.
But Bomb, due process doesn't land in the hands of ICE. due process lands in them going through the process.
Right.
The process itself is, no pun intended, the due process, right?
What
Like
process you talking about?
ICE is simply dealing with a problem. So they
No,
are.
don't go that. What process? Don't speak.
Okay, all right. So part of the process is getting arrested, right? And then going to, and then getting the opportunity to get bail, and then getting the opportunity to defend
Right.
yourself. All of that is part of the process. Y'all are
But
stopping
they
the
ain't
process.
giving that.
Hold on. Y'all are
I
stopping the
apologize for
process
speaking
at
too
a
long.
wrongful, whatever we are deeming, whether we agree or disagree, right? It doesn't matter. We are stopping the due process once the person was wrongfully arrested, and that is a wrong way to interpret that due process. He could be wrongfully arrested, but the next step, he cannot be denied those. It's a whole process. It ain't one step, and y'all trying to make due process being one step, and that is the wrongful arrest. And we are trying to get y'all to understand that is not what due process is. It's not.
But I don't think I didn't hear anybody say what you're saying, that anybody made it that. And some people did shout out some things that didn't make sense. But what I am saying would happen to those people, right? And a lot of people is that they are arresting them, putting them in a detention center in a whole nother state where people don't know where they are. They're not getting phone calls. Nobody's seeing them. And then they're getting on planes and taking these people other places without going before judges and things. So that is the not getting the due process.
Hold on, that's now that is a better argument, and I could respect that side of the argument if we have proof of that. And I just want to let you know that's what Obama was getting beat up for as well, because a lot of people got arrested and they put their ass right on an airplane. They actually had them in cages and all these things that we're saying. So now I can respect that part of it. But when we trying to, go ahead, Otis too. So that's a real argument that Bomb just brought up. Go ahead, Otis too.
Real quick, because I know I don't have that much time. I think the whole situation is a lot of people, unfortunately, don't know the true definition of due process. And I'm not going to yell and get all outrageous, but KT even said that he's not realizing what he said. Due process starts with the initial arrest, whether it's right or wrong. That's where it starts. It ends whether it takes a day or 90 days. It ends with you going in front of the judge, proving your case, period. Just that's clean, cut, and dry. It seems like you want to cut out that whole middle part. Yes, unfortunately, innocent people are getting caught in this web that's being casted out there. Unfortunately,
but when they go through their due process, if
they will get out when they go through the proper due process, whether it takes 90 days or 10 days.
Well said.
But it's not true. They're getting them, putting them on plane and bringing them other places.
Wait a minute, hold on. I got a question then.
You might be right, Bomb. You might be right.
I know I'm not might be right. I'm right.
Okay, you are right. But they will eventually get their due process.
No, they can't get due process when they're out of the country. They have already taken these people to another country. What do you mean they will eventually get it?
They're bringing them to Ecuador. So I like to ask Sharon, right? And I know he's not going to answer. Everybody else going to answer for him. Since though you and Brownsville are in New York, tell us about stop and frisk. Was that against due process? Because we know stop and frisk was major in NYC.
Is it against? No, it was not against due process.
So,
no.
Yeah.
The answer. He said stop and frisk does not violate.
As a victim of stop and frisk, right? The reality is it was problematic to due process, right? But it wasn't out of the scope of what was legal, right?
Yes, it was. That's why they deemed it illegal.
No. Hold on. But he said hold on. So, but he said to due process. So people, them just stopping and frisking people, yes, that is illegal, but it don't have nothing to do with due process.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Y'all missing the point of what. Y'all missing the point of legalities of the Constitution. Yes, y'all say that anybody could come and say I sell drugs and they could pick me up. But then I would sue them because that is illegal for them to do. But then y'all would say, well,
all right, and that's a part of your due process.
Let me break something simple down.
Hold on, because y'all confusing things. So we do
How
not
is it
agree with,
confusing?
hold on. We don't agree with stop and frisk, number one. However, stop and frisk does not violate due process.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Terry V. Hold on. I know the court case is real. Terry v. Ohio, 1968, under the Fourth Amendment. Did I just say the Fourth Amendment earlier? The Fourth Amendment of the United States. A police officer may stop a suspect on the street and frisk him without parole to cause arrest. But if the officer is reasonably suspicious that the person has committing a crime, he should. But if the person is minding his own business and he ain't bothering anybody, he should not be bothered with.
Big J, how
read the court case.
Right?
Big J, yes,
real
Terry
quick,
V.
and I'm gonna keep it short. Sharon, can I get a second?
Hold on, Otis.
Due process. The due process starts when they get arrested or whatever.
Terry v. Ohio.
Hold on, Big J. Everybody want to talk to this part right here. So,
can I get in too, please?
Listen, I just want to say
Terry v. Ohio, 1968 Supreme Court
I
case.
agree. Because Floyd versus City, right? Floyd versus New York City as well, right? Which is also Fourth Amendment violations as well. But right, look, let me read something right here to you. It says stop and frisk does not inherently violate due process because due process is about fair procedures after government action. The bigger constitutional question is about Fourth Amendment rights and not due process. Illegal or abusive stop and frisk can violate your Fourth Amendment rights, and evidence obtained can be excluded in court, but it doesn't automatically mean that your due process was violated.
You want to know how the states?
Not automatically.
Hold on, Willie. He just showed how stop and frisk was not in a. So, Big J, do you agree?
No.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. That's not what he just said, though. You said something wrong. I'm sorry. He said it may not necessarily, which means if you say not necessarily, that means there are times when it is against your due process. Due process means, listen, you can't just come and arrest me. You got to have valid reasons why. And if you don't, then you arrest me. Being arrested could be against my due process.
Okay, hold on. So in due process, does it say you have to have valid reasons?
Yes.
That is a different. Y'all are talking about two different things, man, and y'all not recognizing
reasonable articulate suspicion.
Yes, they gotta have valid reasons.
Yeah, it's called a RAS.
It's called probable cause.
No, probable cause is not a thing. No. Probable cause is not a thing.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
You can't be arrested.
Listen, you cannot be. Suspicion, is that a misdemeanor or a felony, Josh? Look it up.
No, I didn't say reasonable suspicion. I said probable cause. It's the next step. You can be stopped for reasonable suspicion. You can be arrested for probable cause. Look it up, since we're talking about looking it up, Daisy. And here's the thing. He's talking about a Terry stop. The Terry stop does not violate due process unless the information obtained during a Terry stop is literally used against you during a court proceeding. It's called court of a poison tree.
Due process then.
It's only when you're in court.
But
only when you're in court. Yes, it
Josh,
is.
even down to that, Uda just pointed out. Listen, Uda pointed out. If it's not about due process, it's still a Fourth Amendment thing, right?
Yes, and guess what that is? Illegal searches. No, that's illegal search and seizure.
Okay, hold on. I need us to be clear about what we're saying when we're having an argument. We cannot move the goalposts and say, "Hey, it's this now," and it is this now, right? So it is okay that it is not a part of due process. It's a part of another situation, which is wrong. And it is okay for us to understand that. I don't know why that's such a difficult thing, because nobody's saying that stop and frisk is something that we should be doing, practicing, or we saying that is legal. We saying that it is not a part of due process, and it's okay to just say, all right, it is not a part of due process because it shows that it's not.
Is the Fourth Amendment not a part of due process?
No. It's not.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Y'all are really tripping. The Fourth Amendment is due process. Okay, Fourth Amendment is how y'all keep talking about. It's the part of where we have the right to due process. It even says it in the Fourth Amendment. This is our property seizure, illegal search and seizure. A part of due process.
Right. The term due process. Listen. The term due process is in the 3rd, 4th, 5th Amendment. It's in the Bill of Rights. And yet, we got these Negroes who all they want to do is talk this Tyler Perry, the black woman, black men. Are you married? Trying to marry shame people? That's all you niggas talk about. You got nothing to talk about. Stop talking about politics then, because you don't know shit.
Bro, you just misinterpreted a Terry stop. What the fuck are you talking about?
No. What are you talking about, jail? You inmate?
So
what are you talking about?
Hold on. Big J, we had an agreement. So you need to hold to your own agreement. We having a conversation. Don't try to insinuate that this is not something that is not. You are literally here having a conversation about amendments, due process. Don't try to backtrack now and say that this is something.
I ain't backtracking. I'm not backtracking.
Once you start insulting people and claiming that this is some kind of Tyler Perry situation, you full of shit at that point.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you the truth.
Hold on. Just because if you feel like you have more information than somebody, it doesn't mean okay, that's fine. But now when you try to insult everybody else, like you the only one, that's a problem. Stop with the shit. If we're going to have a productive conversation, maintain your own standard and have a productive conversation. Don't be the person that is trying to turn it into some Tyler Perry shit.
But this is a Tyler Perry type of argument. I'm just, that's
Big J,
all.
can I ask you a question real quick, sir? Without no insults. A serious question, Big J. For real.
Because wasn't you the one who made an insult to me? Because you're the one who insulted me.
Again. Hold on. I'm gonna reset it for you, Otis. He's attempted to have a real conversation. Don't throw no extra thing. Let it maintain into the conversation. Go ahead, Otis. Who?
Okay. Do you honestly know the difference, or are you telling me, because you said you went to law school, you telling me that the 4th Amendment is the same exact thing as due process? Are you honestly making that statement to me?
No, due process is in multiple amendments of the Constitution: the 4th, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 14th Amendments of the Constitution.
Okay.
So the due process is in each of those amendments.
Okay. So I can read it. The 4th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution protects individuals against unreasonable searches and seizures by the government, establishing the right to privacy in persons' house, papers, and effects. It requires that warrants be issued only upon probable cause, supported by oath, and specifically describe the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Where does it say anything to do with due process?
That is a part of due process.
It doesn't say.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It is
due process, and then it say that the Constitution. So due process, like they can't seize anything because your due process is that they don't do that. So that's what we're saying.
Y'all confusing things.
Just because.
Hold on. Due process is not a part of every goddamn thing. It's just not. So if somebody illegal. So hold on, please. This is crazy to me. I just read it, so it will. I don't understand. Would you disagree with what I just read?
No, I disagree. No. I disagree. It says probable cause, right? Does it say probable cause?
Yeah.
When like you read it, well, probable cause is a part of the due process argument. If you read the Federalist Papers and you read the Anti-Federalist Papers when they wrote the Constitution, that's why they put it in there. Probable cause is part of the due process clause.
So now the issue is so that when we just take out one part of it, right?
But then we got to be honest with the conversation, because they say due process explicitly is only in a few amendments, only in the 5th, and it only applies to the 14th, not the 3rd or these other ones that Big J's saying, because the 3rd Amendment, they say, is no quartering of soldiers, and that does not mention due process. So
for sure,
due process is.
Are you sure about that? You sure about that? Because
okay, so hold on. Are we gonna disagree with that as well?
No, I said I agree. I'm gonna say, that's quartering.
So now when we
right
start
to make a militia and all that
now
shit.
when we start agreeing with things, now we can stop with just making as everything is a part of the conversation, please. Like the
Fourth Amendment it directly applies to it.
We gotta make sure we are understanding what we are communicating.
Yeah,
because it's not about me being, it's not about me being right. I'm just interpreting it incorrectly. This is what it is. It don't have nothing to do with me, to be honest with you. Me reading it and then you trying to add due process in it is just wrong.
No, Sharon, you are remixing it. You added listen, you read an AI overview, not the actual amendment, which gives a short breakdown. That's the first thing. The second thing is anything involving the judicial branch. That's literally what it's there for. It's the judicial system, justice. All of that involves due process. Anything we're talking about that's judicial is involving due process. This isn't even, we should be able to agree on that.
Well, KT, so I want to accept that. If what you just said is true, if an officer pulls over somebody during a traffic violation, right? They do a search of the vehicle and find drugs. They cannot seize those drugs, right? Because that would violate due process, right?
No,
they can't seize those drugs.
I know. Once you gave them permission to search. You gave them the permission to search your car.
That's
you gave
right.
them permission to search, but did you give them permission to seize?
Yeah, no, that's a part of it. No, that's a part. That's why it's search and seizure. It goes together. So once you search, if I give you the right to search, that gives you the right to seize. Yes.
Yes.
Again,
even then, if they see them, they still might have to get a warrant.
Y'all are full of shit, and y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about, and it is sad to me, man.
If I could interject, just
when we read we can agree with what we are reading now. Is like, oh, this is not the exact amendment. That's AI over. If you don't get the fuck out of here, sit your stupid ass down.
AI don't be right.
So that's why you can also point out where we wrong.
All right, so fine. AI don't be right. So do you agree or disagree with that AI overview so we can have an understanding?
It was just an overview.
It's too simplified. It's too simplified.
Hold on. I need to understand. Do you agree with it or not? So we can have the proper.
It's too simplified.
Hold on. What I'm saying is, if you agree with it, don't tell me that sometimes it's wrong. It's either we're gonna look at the information and say, okay, we agree with that information. We have an argument towards that information. We cannot look at it, say we agree with it, and then throw in the fact, well, sometimes it'd be wrong.
Well, I mean, that's the fact. Well, I can't throw in the fact that sometimes
because do you agree with it? Is the
okay, what you're saying. So what I'm
what I'm saying, do we agree with the AI overview, or do I need to find something else that we agree on? Hey, this is the definition, and then we can have the argument towards that. If you disagree with the AI overview, I can accept that. Then I can find
Carnell,
Carnell Law School. Hold on, let me finish saying what I'm saying so I can have a understanding. I don't have no problem with us disagreeing with AI overview. If that's what we are saying, I just need to understand: are we agreeing with that version of it, or we are not agreeing with that version of it?
No, I'm gonna just speak for myself. I agree with the overview, but what was stated was
so if we're going to agree with it, then we can have the argument towards what we are reading instead of trying to make it seem like now all of a sudden we can't necessarily agree with it because it possibly is wrong.
No, I don't know this. I don't know what type of games you playing, right? Because it's crazy. Because I'm trying to tell you, you read something and then you said in your overview, you said, where does it say this? And somebody said, well, by the way, you just reading the overview. So we're not disagreeing with the overview. We're disagreeing with the fact that just because what you read didn't say exactly what we were saying doesn't mean that you're correct. That's what we're saying. Okay?
No. Okay. What I'm trying to establish something that we could agree on, and we could base our agreements and disagreements off of that. Instead of us just saying things.
I disagree.
Okay,
I disagree.
So
you know why?
So Big J hold on. Before you tell me, I want to get it.
Yeah.
So Big J disagrees with the AI overview. Bomb Cherry does not. KT to go. Do you disagree with the AI overview?
It's just an overview. It's simplified, like Big J said. But yeah, I agree with the overview. It's not everything though. Okay. Because you like us to be literal, and that's why I'm doing that. But when I do that, then you say, hey, calm down on what you're saying.
This is insane. I don't know why we can't just agree on this is what we're gonna have an argument about. Because then when we agree with the argument, then y'all find ways to poke hole in the thing that we all agreed with and say, yes, we agree with. That's all I'm trying to get establishment of, right? So we can say this is the foundation of what we are arguing, and then we can move forward. That's all I'm trying to do.
Okay, so what are we arguing now anyway? Because it did change.
It did not change.
You don't like it.
Originally,
hold on. What changed was that KT said he doesn't agree with the AI overview, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, I don't agree with it. That's what we are arguing right now. So I'm trying to get a base on what we are going to agree on.
That, though.
Yeah, he didn't say that. He didn't say he didn't agree. He just said it's just the overview. That's all he said. He didn't say
so do you agree with the overview, KT?
Yeah, no, I was disagreeing with the part where you said this don't say nothing about due process, and that's the only thing.
Okay, so again, I'm gonna ask you again. Do you agree with the overview?
Yes, I said it from the beginning. So on the first person said yeah. Where you added the part of this don't say nothing about due process.
Right, because all right, so you agree with if you agree with the overview, do the AI overview say anything about due process?
No.
Okay, so therefore that's why.
The Fourth Amendment is not saying nothing about due process, and you did it based off.
So slow down. So that's why I said doesn't say anything about due process because we all agreed on what I read. And if we don't agree on it because you want to try to poke holes in the thing that we very agreed on and say that's not what we agree on, that's why the conversation is falling apart. So if you agree with the base, then you got to stick with the base. If not, then I can move forward to something that's more literal in the exact sense. So this way we don't have no fucking arguments.
No, I think you just have a need to be like 100% right sometimes. We can, like you're saying, if we can meet at a middle ground, is what we just said. I agree with that.
Oh my God.
Sharon, if I may. What you're saying too, Sharon, because
I just want to agree on the base and then we can argue from the base. We cannot agree with the base, whatever. We cannot agree with the base and then move away from the base and say, well, your base.
You're the one who added the point out of it, which was, look, this don't say nothing about due process. Due process ain't involved.
Exactly, because that is the baseline. We are arguing our point of view from that base. So everything in that base, we can argue from. So now when it's in there, but if you don't agree, if the whole panel don't agree, then we could change the argument.
Well, if you're saying that we got to agree with what it says there, and if it don't say something, then we got to agree to that, then I'm saying that I disagree with the overview because the overview is incomplete, and therefore you can't say something that's incomplete. Just we know that it's incomplete. You say, oh, it's not saying this, see, and we got to agree with that. So I'm saying that it's incomplete, like everybody else up here is saying.
Then that's dumb.
Okay,
and the reason why we have to agree on something, right, as the base. Once we agree on the base, we could base our argument from that thing. Now it's dumb of me to maintain that if we don't want to maintain that, and that's fine. I'm okay with that as well. And they say, hey, Sharon, I have a problem with it because it's not complete, like Bomb say. Those are two different arguments. So it's either we are going to all right, so therefore you don't agree with the overview, fine, and then we could just move forward. Y'all don't agree with the overview.
And the overview is
and I'm going to tell you why.
It's on the Fourth Amendment.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you.
So we just freestyling. There's no decorum. We just anybody goes. Is that what's going on? Because I'm
right because what it is. Right because you know why? Because we're not stoic. We're not being taught stoicism and all that. We're supposed to be stoic. Stoicism. Yeah. How you gonna talk about stoicism when you want to do bounties?
Okay.
How about you, me, nigga?
Okay, I already told you once.
What's your word? You're not
I told you once already. I don't want to have to do it again. So stop, please.
No, you need to tell him to stop.
Okay,
you need to tell him to stop.
I'm asking you. It doesn't matter who. I'm asking you.
I just got here.
So it doesn't matter if it ain't a tick for tack. I got you in a second, Edom, man. I'm sorry. Y'all are being ridiculous at this point. Shout out. I've learned I agree with a bit of what you say. Shout out. Impeding justice refers to actions that interfere with or obstruct the legal process, preventing law enforcement and judicial officials from carrying out their duties effectively. American tradesmen, support the channel and get the likes up. Share the stream. That would be much appreciated. Also, we got Brownsville, New York. Drop that mouth breather. First classic.
Okay.
Citizen. Conflicting the civil rights march protests with the illegal migrant protest is false equivalence and very disingenuous.
And disrespectful to civil rights leaders.
Absolutely. Ashe with the $2. Look up. When does due process begin? And make sure y'all support the show. It's all good that we could do such a thing. Let me see. I need to bring in either man. Go ahead, Omni, while I figure out who I'm going to replace that doesn't have a camera on. Sorry, KT, you don't have a camera on. Go ahead, Omni.
So we're talking about civil rights, right? I mean, not civil rights. We're talking about due process and whatnot. Why is no one bringing up the IIRIRA? Hold on, I'll put it on the screen for you real quick. Y'all can look it up, whether it be Google overview, AI overview, or not. If you type this into the search bar, otherwise known as 8 USC 1225B. All right, I'll read a little bit of it here. Well, just the key aspects. The target population, non-citizens lacking valid entry documents or using fraud, misrepresentation to enter. The authority is CBP, U.S. U.S. Customs and Border Protection, ICE. Officers can issue removal orders, which cannot be appealed. All right. Consequences: a 5-year ban on entering the U.S. is typically imposed, and the exceptions: an individual expresses fear of persecution or torture. So that's the whole asylum thing. But the key aspect is that it reduces due process because they can be removed within 24 to 48 hours. Without having to see a judge.
So now
they don't need a hearing in front of a judge.
Exactly.
And that, hold up. No. You wait, because I'm not done. So this was imposed. This expedited removal was imposed. No, not in Obama. Clinton, 1996. This has been around.
Yes, we
know.
So
we done been here for 3 hours. Hold on, Omni, and we need to support the show. I need 3 people to send $5 super chats. And if you really want to show your love, hold on, wait 1 second, Omni. We gonna let you talk. But first thing we gonna do is either we gonna get our super chats for today, or we gonna get our cash apps. And
he just read the super chats.
I know, but it's the 3-hour mark, and he read those, but we need these. There's a difference.
And why are you getting in the way of the conversation? We talking about due process, not who's getting paid.
Okay, so all right, so look, I wanna.
They do not need non-citizens can be removed without a hearing before an immigration judge. It is legal. It is written in the law.
It depends.
It is written in the law.
And it depends, right? It depends where they are. Have they been already entry in, or are they at the border just getting?
Okay, hold on. And before we move it there, right? Do y'all?
No, it's if they haven't been here, if they can't prove that they've been here for at least 2 years and they don't have documentation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, and so also I want to say, hey, are we going to agree with Congress.gov?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now the right of people to be secure in a person's house, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirm. I need some water. And particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Does it say due process in this Fourth Amendment?
Those things are the due process that you mentioned.
It filed under. It filed under.
Does it say due process in this amendment?
No.
Yes or no?
No, they don't use the word
Thank
due
you. So
process.
again, so when you was talking earlier, KT to go said it's not being exact and all these other words that y'all was trying to make it seem like I'm insinuating something that I'm not. I just want us to start being honest about what we're seeing and what we're reading, and stop trying to have it as some bullshit. So we can get people the right information, so people won't go out there and risk their lives and put their lives in danger, thinking that they're doing something to protect everybody and protect civil rights when they are putting their lives in danger for something that they don't fully understand.
Look up the due process clause.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little confused on what you just read, and you try to make it seem like you read the whole Fourth Amendment. That's another overview, right?
No, the fourth doesn't mention it. Only the
No, we're not talking about what he.
That was okay. So, what you want me to go deeper into this?
No, that's not what I want you to do. But what I'm saying just now, you said that KT made it seem like you didn't read it all, and you still haven't read it all. But I'm not saying you need to read it all. But you just tried to make a point that KT was saying that I didn't read it all, and here it is. But I'm saying that you still haven't read it all. We know the Fourth Amendment is longer than that.
The Fourth
I'm
Amendment.
saying you need to read it all, though. That's not what I'm saying.
The Fourth Amendment refers to law enforcement actions that are taken prior to due process being enacted.
Yes.
You're not under due process until the time of arrest.
Okay, kid.
This is about reasonable suspicion.
Yes.
Yes, reasonable suspicion. That's before you get arrested. So the due
That's
process means that it's everything that we already hold before they even come to arrest me. They gotta go through certain things to even arrest me.
Bomb, you're equating due process with search and seizure.
The government takes action against you. That means you go to court, you got an action against you. You've been arrested now. So now your due process rights and all of these things fall into place.
Y'all, this don't make sense. Do you not understand that they need a warrant to come in my house? That's a part of due process. Which means before they even come in my house,
that's not a part of due process. That's a part of the fourth.
That's not part of the process.
That's a part of the fourth.
Oh my God! Listen, it's okay. Y'all just gotta read and know how to read, and
that's substantiating that.
If you don't understand that if search and seizure, even before they do that, there's a law, right? There's a process. That's what it means. It's a process. Before something happens, before the government do something to you, they got to go through a process.
It's not called due process, though. It's not called due process. So for example, if they don't need a warrant to come in your house if they got a reason to come in, right? If they have this is okay.
Unless they hear something actually where they can say, "Oh, I hear somebody being murdered right now." Other than that, unless I invite them, they need a warrant. And y'all need to know y'all rights, because this is ridiculous.
But they can come to your house with reasonable suspicion. They can come to your property. They can arrest you outside your door.
But that's not what he said. They cannot arrest me outside my door under my porch. If I'm on my porch,
yes, they can.
No, they cannot.
So if you just shot somebody on your porch, they can't touch you, is what you're saying.
But they shot my brother in the back. They could do what they do. It don't mean it's right.
No, I'm saying you can shoot somebody on your porch and they can't touch you because it's your domicile.
No, because they would have if I shoot somebody, then and they see me do it, yes, they can arrest me.
And then you go through due process.
Hold on. I'm trying to understand what she's saying. So If a police come to your door and they see some powder substance on the table, do they got to go get a warrant or can they just come in your place?
They have to go get a warrant.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well,
Yeah, that's
That
you
is
insane.
said a
crazy.
powder substance. It could be
That
any
is
powder.
crazy.
They see it. They need to go get a warrant to come get it. And if
That
they
is
come and
crazy.
get it, well, that's a fact,
Man,
though.
I'm trapping out of
That's
Bomb
That's a
Cherry's
fact.
house
Now,
Man,
that
for
don't mean
real.
all
that is crazy.
okay. Well, y'all better go look up the law. Listen, lots of people just because they come in and arrest me, don't mean they don't get off. They
Hey,
can
can I?
do what they want to do if you're asking that, but can they
They
do
can
it
arrest you for
legally?
reasonable suspicion.
Hold on. Why can a person go in your property? Why can a police officer go in your property without a warrant?
Say it again.
Why? I'm trying to understand. Why do you think a police officer can go into your property without a warrant?
Why they can or can't?
Can.
What you mean? Why they can? They can if I'm suspected of doing something, right? Or
Yeah.
something that they think I'm doing, but they have to be able to substantiate that. They have to say, oh, we saw her with a gun, with a mask on, and da da da, and we heard her say she going to do this and that. Yes, but they
So
can't
hold
just.
on. Let's break it down. Okay, I want to make sure I understand. So you said they open up your door and they see it look like it's a kilo of cocaine on your table. You said that's not reasonable suspicion on why they should go in your space based on your
No,
theory.
that's right.
That's
They need to get a
extreme.
warrant. They have to get a warrant. Do you
They
not
don't.
understand? Just because they see it, unless they scared that I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do with it. They can listen. They can arrest me, but they cannot come and mess with that shit until they get a sub signed by the judge. And you need to know your rights. That's why black men end up in jail a lot. All right.
I'm just
And
telling you.
y'all don't know y'all
Listen,
rights then.
I got a lot of cousins locked up right now. They was talking like you was talking, and they've been in jail for 15 years.
Well, they was
Talking
talking
about
like I
he
was
didn't.
talking.
They
If they was
said
talking
he
like I
didn't
was
have
talking,
no
they got
warrant.
attitude.
I don't
hold
have
on.
an arrest. I don't have so much as an arrest record, and I've gotten away with a lot of shit. I'm just saying.
Hey, look, hold on. Let me also get ahead. PA Ziva, what's your thoughts?
Well, I came in on the arguing about due process. So, like, what is the larger conversation though?
Well, what they arguing is that these people are not getting due process, and they not even arrested yet. That's what Bomb Cherry arguing. But
That was never the
The
argument.
due
immigrant people,
process. Yeah,
the
well,
immigrant
yeah.
people.
Due
Oh, okay,
process
but
is after you arrested. It's not before you arrested.
well, does due process apply to non-citizens?
Yes.
Okay.
Per the statute on my avatar, not really.
No, but you mean not always.
Not really.
You mean not always, but yes, in this country, they get due process. Everybody on our soil.
Yeah. As long as you're in America, you got the right to due process. Also, what y'all talking about is like, listen, you can get detained for reasonable articulate suspicion. You can only be arrested when charged with quote unquote probable cause. Like so everything we talking about, like I pointed out earlier, anything involving the judicial system is a part of due process, y'all. We can all agree on that. So y'all got to stop saying it happens after you're arrested, because in order for them to arrest you, they need the reasonable articulate suspicion and the probable cause.
Okay,
What
perfect.
is the
Hold on,
conversation?
Kevin, go.
No, hold on. What I'm
Oh
trying to
yeah.
figure out what. So how do we get to debating whether or not they have due process rights? Like what is, if they do or if they don't? What does that mean? Or
We were
what is
talking
what?
about how like ICE. We were talking about how like ICE had that guy. I think he's in Minnesota also. That him and his son, they got taken and now they've returned him back. So we were just pointing out like it's literally cases where we can point at American citizens who are like, because you're right, ICE has all of these things y'all are saying, but that's only with aliens. Even that's what you're leaving out, Omni. You know you are. This only applies to aliens. So when we're talking,
they are alien. What are you talking about? This is what we're talking about.
The conversation we just had was about a man who was not an alien. These are American citizens and immigrants. That's what y'all missing. We brought this conversation up talking about how American citizens are being still removed by ICE, and this is why people are
KT,
protesting.
he was still an alien. This guy was still an alien. He just wasn't an undocumented one. He was legally here, but he refused to show his initial papers, which is why they detained him. They had exactly. They had probable cause to arrest him.
No, that's not true. You don't have to walk around with your papers.
Josh, you say he's an alien, but you didn't say he's an illegal one. That is where ICE has their parameters of authority. Like in terms of deportations, when we're talking about just a regular immigrant, a regular citizen, I don't have to show you shit. I don't have to verify to
That's
an
American
citizen.
But he is.
That's a lie.
That's not.
He's a documented.
You have to identify.
He's a documented.
Especially, hello. This is the so you
do not have to identify.
If I'm in a car, maybe only Otis, because he's a sovereign citizen.
Yeah,
if I am in a car operating a vehicle, I do have to identify myself.
Yeah,
that's a great example. But I'm about to say, because what if I'm a passenger in your car? I don't have to identify shit.
Yes, you do.
Actually,
no, I don't.
No, you
don't. Y'all don't know the law. Nigga,
y'all don't know the law.
That's why y'all get locked up.
That's why y'all get arrested.
But y'all wrong. I ain't been locked up in a decade plus, and I had a really long rap sheet.
And that's because you've been showing your ID for the last decade. You've been showing your ID for the last decade. That's why you.
All right. I be trying to let y'all work it out like adults, but y'all want to talk over each other. Okay, so now the issue is this. When you get arrested, whether it's rightfully or wrongfully, that's the beginning of the due process situation. There's a whole process, and the problem is that we trying to limit it to just the arrest part and say that this person has not got a due process. That's the issue I'm having with this argument. It starts and begins with the arrest. Whether if it's wrong or justified and all those other things, that's where it starts at. And so once we have the argument there, and then we can have some real understanding what ICE is doing wrong and what they are not, so we can hold them accountable for the things that they are not doing correctly. But when we just acting as if being arrested is not due process, that's what we're doing it a disjustice, and we giving ICE excuses.
No, and I just got to point out. I'm only pointing out. Go ahead.
Oh no. So I guess I'm wondering, like, why is this of such interest to Black Americans?
I don't know. That's a very good question.
Because they bored. They bored.
No, whether or not
let's call it ace and ace.
Hold on. If you're not a part of the opposition, let the opposition explain. Let KT and Bomb Cherry explain it. Go ahead.
Whether or not y'all want to admit it, I'm in agreement. Somalis are not Black Americans. However, they look like us, and I've brought this up many times in this on this platform. White people, I know we understand the differences of us. White people don't give a fuck. So they literally look at a group of Black people and say, yeah, them niggas. We could break down whether or not they Somali. They don't give a fuck. I don't understand and think with like what happened to the guy in LA. This is something happening with a Black person. Even when it comes to government things. Yeah. The guy dying in
most
LA.
of the people in Minnesota don't look like us. That's getting locked up. What are we talking about?
No, I'm not saying y'all are literally acting like I'm saying most of the people in Minnesota are Black people. I'll say there are mostly Black people. Memphis, Tennessee, that has ICE in the fuck. And I don't know what problems we're trying to really act like Memphis, Tennessee has for ICE to be there. ICE and the National Guard, but yeah, they're there.
We're not talking about no Memphis, Tennessee. No, hold on. We're not talking about Memphis, Tennessee. We are talking about
Hold on, let Bomb Cherry, let the people that disagree. Hold on, y'all. Go ahead, Bomb.
No, I agree with him. I don't know why people acting like it's just in Minnesota. They here in Delaware, they in New Jersey, they in New York, they all over the place. The main places we see
North Carolina.
They everywhere. And so we can act like they're not gonna come for us, but we know that's what he's been trying. He's been trying to get us off our asses out there in them streets, and we were smart enough to not really be out there, but we are the targets. Okay. Now I'm not really I don't care if people don't want to go out there, but for those who do want to be out there, it's a group of Black people telling us we shouldn't be out there. And so, I say everybody who don't want to be out there, don't be out there. You got a right to, and I'm not gonna hold it against you, and don't hold it against me when I'm out there. But even though I'm not out there, y'all know I'm sitting on my fat ass in front of the sewing machine. But in spirit, I'm out there, baby. I'm out there.
But so even that is just, if Black people as a collective have said, you know what, because we're always the target. I don't know why people trying to act like ICE coming on the scene is some new bullseye on our back, right? We've always been the target, and everybody else was okay with the shit until it started touching them. And so I guess I just wonder, like, if the group is saying don't go out there, why would you break ranks with the group to go your ass out there?
I
It's just
say
like the man
family.
who took his ass out there with them Venezuelans, and then they started calling him the N-word.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Like,
this is
how
my
does that
thing,
make
No,
Diva.
any
let them
sense?
answer it. Let them answer it. Let them
Yeah,
answer it. I
well,
want to hear this. So we
well,
can
my
start with
answer is family. My answer is family. Like, I know some of y'all don't have family, mixed family, and those type of things. And I just want you to know, like, motherfuckers don't be knowing what the hell I am. You know what I mean? They just had a threat at my grandson's school. They got a lot of Spanish people at his school because they teach Spanish half the day and English the other half of the day. And there was a whole threat, gun threat, whatever they call it. So it's all kind of shit going on. And I don't know, some people can sit and do nothing, but some of us, we just,
Hold on,
Right.
hold
me
on.
And so
personally,
the thing
Hold on.
is,
We're gonna let
hold on,
KT. We're gonna let KT try to answer as well, Diva. So this way you can finish cooking them up. KT, why?
well, no, I
Did
wanted to
you?
respond to something
Okay.
Bomb said, like about the
Okay.
family issue, right?
mhm.
And so these people have married into these Black people's families, and now they're gonna prioritize them over all the other Black people. That's
Oh
crazy.
no,
And see, and I'm just pointing out, a lot of times the way we think, Black people, is absolutely crazy, and it undermines our own self-interest. And a person who can't act, or a people who can't act in their own self-interest, something's wrong with you. Like, you need to be institutionalized, right? Because you're no good to even yourself. You're a danger to yourself.
Facts.
no,
You
I
know
I
agree.
what?
can
Hey,
understand
But
that
it's
somewhat.
unfortunate. But my grandson is a part of me. And the rest of my family is a part of me. So if it's gonna be my family versus a whole bunch of Black people who ain't do shit for me, then
Right.
we going to war. And that's the
Right. And
motherfucker.
so
hey,
this is
Whoa.
the
Army.
point,
As
though.
for
Black people, hold on, KT.
no,
But see, this is the thing, Black people, that we got to understand. And that's why you got to get them people who bring the other people in your family. You got to have them in their place, right? Because don't nobody get to walk their ass up in my shit, and then I'm going to prioritize them over me.
No, I got you. I understand you. It's
I
just
said,
so many,
Army.
and they ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't do shit. I just was born. You know what I mean? Like they got, because there's a lot of people who just born, and you
Army.
know,
But
You
then
know,
maybe that's also the thing where we need to start delineating. We need to start delineating all the way around, right? And so understanding that monoracial Black people are different from mixed race Black people or multiracial Black people. And those multiracial Black people are going to think very differently than us because they always gonna have divided loyalties, right? That's
I could take
they
that.
family members. They're family members. They
yeah.
love these people. So they're gonna try to, right. But if that goes against us, then what do we do with those people? Right. And so we got to start pointing out that drawing the line between us and the people who marry in and start creating kids with us.
They call them
And
mulattoes.
what
But
about the
listen,
us that don't want to be us and they self hating themselves, and then they not gonna be with the us neither, right? So it gonna be a lot of
But Bob, we
Right.
got to
Those the
figure out
ones
what's
that's
K. We
bringing
got to
in white
ask K to
people.
go.
That's the
What's
ones
his
that's
thing
bringing the
though? Hold
multiracial
on.
people in the family. And that's
but
the self-hate that
We'll
they
get
acting out.
Bob mixed. Hold on, Bob. We know you mixed. K to go. We know you ain't mixed up. So what's your
nah, hell
excuse?
nah,
Hold
boy.
on. I'm trying to see his excuse because I see what
100%
Bob is saying.
Negordian.
I'm just
Nah,
trying to think.
because what PhD was pointing out about self interest. Well, first of all, knowing like what she said earlier, also how we've always been the target. That don't mean that we're supposed to be okay with just watching some shit happen and knowing that we're most likely going to end up being the next targets. Because I don't see white people in America saying, "Oh, the problem is people who are not white Americans." and then somehow we as niggas be like, oh, we fucked with them, so they gonna let us. We Americans too. They fuck with. No, that's not how that shit works. And beyond that,
Yeah, but
y'all was
those
pointing
people
out,
that you
well,
out there for don't fuck with you either. And so this is the
who?
point. None
Yeah,
of those
they're here to
people,
replace you.
they don't fuck with you either. And so now
What are
don't
you?
nobody fuck with you. Now what do you
No,
do?
listen. None of them fuck with us. I don't really. That's not. I'm arguing.
Well, then
I'm
why did
saying
you
it
bring
would
it
be in
up?
our best because it would be in our best interest that while they're arguing and doing whatever, that we would probably pick a side, and we should probably
No,
pick the side that
absolutely
if
not.
they win, it would give
Hell
us
no.
more freedom.
No, they not
They
gonna
ain't
give
gonna
you more
win.
freedom. That's what
They
you
ain't
got
getting
to
no freedom.
understand. When
That's
you
crazy.
when they win,
Hey,
they gonna say thank you N word and kick
And
rocks,
continue.
right?
Yeah.
That's what they've been
that would
doing.
be on us. That would be on us if we
Would that be
allowed
on
that.
us when
But
you
what I can
sitting up here
say is,
trying to
I
force
think we
us to
got a
go
better
help them to
numbers.
take their side?
No, we not. It's not. Listen, again, I'm saying I'm taking somebody's side in my best interest and black people' best interest. Because what y'all
Yeah.
keep saying is that no, listen, let the shit happen, right? Let's say they import all the immigrants. All right,
Then
it's
what?
12 million of them. It's 14 million of them. Which one is a bigger threat? 14 million immigrants or 200 million plus crackers?
14 million
Exactly.
immigrants. Hold on.
Right.
No.
Hold on.
It ain't
It's
them
been
14 million
hold on.
immigrants that been passing laws to harm us.
The reason why it's been proven when we went to bat for them and we got them to where they need, they said fuck those niggas.
Oh,
So
like the white
therefore
They
people?
did try to align themselves with the white people. They aligned themselves
Right.
with the white people.
So
So that's what I'm saying.
hold on, KT. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, KT. So what you're saying is this: we're going against 200 million, and then help another 14 million to add to the 200 million. Is what you are missing?
No, I'm literally saying y'all trying to say
No.
it's
Hold on.
Y'all try to listen.
Hold on. Address what we are saying, so you can understand Diva's point of view. You are saying that we should go against the 200 million, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now if we help that 14 million, what they do is we help them win, and then they add themselves. Hold on, they add themselves to the 200 million. That's what happened.
I understand exactly what you're saying, so
Okay,
I get
so
it.
now,
Let me
so now
straighten
you
it up.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How? My question is now that we in the
Those 200 million,
how
they're
is
fighting
that?
each other.
How is that helping black folks if we are adding to our enemy?
Those 200 million are fighting each other. You know, getting rid of each other. All the people that ICE have taken out of Minnesota are white people, right? So I think it may be.
Full of them. Are you crazy, KT?
I mean, who? I'm not talking about how many of them it was. I'm talking about the people who have had it happen to them. It's been white people, right? Am I right or wrong?
But it's a handful of them, so they're not taking each other out, right? It's pointing to anomalies and saying they fighting with each other, they taking each other out.
No, I said they're fighting each other. That's what I said, and that's
but they're not. Okay. So
they're not for real.
This is what you misunderstand. They are not fighting each other. When we
what
go
are they
down,
doing?
just because they okay. Let's slow it down. Again, when we helped them out before, right? And after the smoke settles, they win. And the white folks stop fighting each other, right? Because after they win, everybody stops fighting, correct? Right? They won. So now they're going to stop fighting.
That would be on us. That would be on us.
Okay,
I would
now,
say again,
all right, so now we help them fight, and then the fight is over. The dust is settled, and then now the white folks is like, all right, we had our fight. Let's get back to kumbaya and doing what we do. They are those white folks get back together. Now they back to 200 million again. They not 100 versus 100. They are 200 together. They those 14 million that we helped. They are going to side themselves with the 200 million. So again, how is that helping your black ass and our black ass? And we just added to our so-called enemy.
Yeah. So art of war. Allow your enemies to make their own mistakes. And then you take advantage of it. That's the actual biggest part of pointing that out in the art of war.
You are the one that's making the mistake.
Okay, let me continue. So when there's a war happening, you know, people are not agreeing with each other. They're taking each other out. Well, if we're sitting here saying we're going to sit back and do nothing, I'm asking how does that help us more than saying maybe we should prepare to pick a side? And either side that we pick, I'm going to just say this historically, I don't know why we would side with our oppressors over the people who are fighting against the oppression. It seems
it's not about siding, it's about staying the
idiotic.
fuck out of it.
No, but that's the problem. You're stupid if you think that's what's going to happen. You think if you just gonna sit your ass at home and don't fuck with ICE, ICE ain't gonna fuck with you. We went through this already last week. Then ICE
It's
just put out a memo
immigration
saying,
enforcement is in the name.
but ICE just said that
Immigration.
listen,
But
ICE
they
just
Why
put
is
out
ICE
a
gonna come
notification.
after me?
They
They
Why?
literally said they got the right. They literally said they're trying to pass right now for the right to go into anybody's house with no warrant. American citizen not. So you tell me if you really
So
think
tell
that they
me,
can
tell
do
me,
that and it's not
show
gonna
me the
harm you,
video
man.
of the black man. Hold on. Show me the video of the black man. They going in the black man house that look like you, K to go, and taking him and deporting him somewhere. I don't know where they gonna send you, but you
So
feel
this
like they gonna send you somewhere. Are they sending you to Somali?
This is a very bad argument. It doesn't matter. They'll probably send all of us to Ecuador because they're not sending anyone to their native country. The thing beyond that is saying, well, show me the evidence. This is already that's literally how ICE has been
Y'all be
functioning.
living
Is it
super
not a
paranoid, boy.
so?
Yes,
It's not
they
paranoid
have
to
been
talk
doing that
facts.
already. You're right.
They made a whole prison over there. I'm not incorrect, bro. They made
No,
a whole
I'm trying.
prison.
And
I'm
how
trying
many
to.
black people are in it? How many
How many
black
black
people?
So here's how I'm gonna stop y'all stupidity right here. The argument that because it ain't happening to black people, it ain't going to happen to black people sounds stupid, and it's being
Doomsday.
unprepared.
You're
It's
right,
not
Doomsday.
being.
Yeah, I
It's
forgot
not.
Doomsday. I forgot we was on the Doomsday channel.
You
Man,
so
hey,
you
it's
looking
gonna
I
at
forgot
happen.
y'all.
Okay, hold on.
As I
Okay, hold
said,
on.
y'all like omittance.
Hold on. So we're saying that we believe. Well, not we. KT, you believe if we hold ICE to the law of what they're supposed to be, that somehow they're gonna break those ranks and they're gonna say, "Hey, we're gonna start arresting black folks in the street just because."
Well, I've literally pointed this out also a couple times. Factual
Yes or no?
shit. This
First,
isn't fantasy.
before you change the topic of what I
Yes,
just
yes,
asked.
no, I'm not. I've never changed the subject.
Yes.
Factually, most of the people being hired right now by ICE are literally known Proud Boys. They don't get me wrong. They hate other people who not white, but they specifically hate black people. So
Okay,
when y'all saying, y'all
okay.
think this
So
gonna happen?
hold on, please. So now that they hired these people, that means what against the law? That means that they could go against the law.
Yeah,
They
pretty
haven't
much.
gone against the
They
law.
don't even have to adhere to the
Hold
law.
on.
They only adhere to the federal law, which is above the state laws that they're being in.
Okay,
right?
so now that we got Proud Boys in there, you saying those Proud Boys are just gonna walk inside of Brownsville, New York, and just start picking up black folks and just sending them to another country like Ecuador because they are Proud
I wouldn't
Boys.
say send them, detain them definitely, because that's your legal clause, right? You can detain any damn body. But
Right,
again,
okay.
this goes back to the process, the due process. Once the arrest starts, if you've been falsely arrested, your
Okay,
due
so
process
therefore,
is now
even
violated.
if they whatever their affiliation is, they cannot go against the law of the land. Correct?
No, they have been though.
Yes, no, they literally can.
How?
They're above the state law.